Classmates, we are having a lesson in Uni App development. We often need to display rich text content, such as text with HTML tags, images, links, and more. Uni App provides a powerful rich text component that makes it easy to implement rich text content display. Now, let's see how to use the rich text component to create content-rich interfaces. The rich text component can be used on various platforms like H5, app, and many programs. Its main properties include: the first one is the nodes property. The nodes property has two types of values: an array type and a string type, both of which are frequently used. The array type is more commonly used. The space property indicates displaying consecutive spaces, while the select table property indicates whether the rich text can be selected by long pressing, which can be useful for copy-paste operations. The rest of the properties mentioned here are less commonly used. There's also the @item click property for intercepting click events. Rich text also supports default events, including click, to start, to end, and so on. Among these properties, the nodes property is the most important. When the value of node is a string type, it will be automatically parsed into a node list inside the component. Generally, it's recommended to use the array type. To avoid performance degradation due to internal conversion, note that if it's an app or Alipay mini program, they don't support the string format. Only node lists are supported. That is an array type. If you want to use a string, you need to convert it into an array type. The nodes in the node list support two types, differentiated by the type attribute as either element nodes or text nodes. The default is element nodes. When type equals node, it represents an element node, which includes the name attribute, indicating the tag name. It supports many common HTML tags. Common HTML tags are all supported. The attributes represent attributes, while children represent child node lists. If the type attribute equals text, what type of node does node represent? It represents a text node, which is a string type. Now let's take a look at this example. The nodes property is of the array type, and inside, there's a rich text component with the nodes property value as arrayNodes. Why does it display the text Hello Uni App here? Let's take a look at what arrayNodes is. ArrayNodes is simply an array. As you can see, it's an array type. Within this array, let's take a look. First is its first object. Within this object, there's a name attribute set to the div tag, which means it's using a div tag first. This div tag specifies two attributes. One is class, and the other is style. Let's check that StyleAttribute. The line height is 60px, meaning the line height of the text is 60px. If I change it to 40px, it becomes shorter. The color is red, and the alignment is centered. These are some basic attributes of the div tag. Div class is the class style of the div tag. Let's see this style class here. You can see margin is 15px, and border indicates the border, with a border width of 1 rpx, a gray solid border. These are the tags and attributes of ArrayNodes. Now, what's inside children? Now we already have a div tag, and children represent the child nodes inside that div tag. Child nodes can be text or arrays. This child node is text. The text content is Hello Uni app, with a space in between. This is how to use the rich text component. We just discussed the scenario where nodes are of the array type. Next, let's look at the scenario where nodes are of the string type. When the node's property is a string, what does it look like? When the nodes are a string, here is a rich text component with nodes equal to strings. Take a look. This is an array, but this time it's a string. Let's examine this string. It's an HTML formatted string containing a group of div tags that stylize for text centering. The div tag contains an im tag, which is an image. The image here. This represents the scenario where nodes are of the string type. Next, let's take a look at the specific usage of the rich text component. First, you should import the rich text component inside the template tag. Then, set the node's property to an array. Then, we need to define the rich text content using this array. First, let's look at the rictextNodes nodes array, which defines the rich text content. First, it defines a div tag. The class attribute of the div tag defines the style class of the div tag. Let's see what it looks like. The rich text content style class has a margin width of 10px, a padding of 10px, a background color of £F5F5F5, which is the gray you see on the right. The text color inside is £333. This is the style of this div block. Its StyleAttribute sets the color to £333. Children represent the child nodes of that div. The child node within children as a type attribute of text. The text content is, this is a piece of rich text content, as you can see on the right. Then, another child element is added, which is more complex than the previous one. This child node contains a span tag. The StyleAttribute of that span tag sets font weight to bold. Inside its child nodes is another text, which says text with bold effect. The text following it. The third element contains a text with the content and Immediately after that, another child element is added, which is a tag defining a hyperlink. This is the link target attribute, linking to this URL. Then, another attribute of that a tag is specified, the target attribute, with a blue color property. The link is of the text type, with the content link. Finally, a period is added, but its child elements aren't complete yet. The last child element is an im tag. Its circattribute is the path of the image file. What's inside that circattribute of that im tag? It's the logo image file under that static directory. The stylattribute of im sets the width to 100px and the height to 100px. With this, our rich text content is complete. Please note that our first rich text is actually a node array. Each node is composed of name, attrs, and children. To define the HTML tag type, attributes, and child nodes. Here we are creating a div node that contains text, bold text, a hyperlink, and an image. We can modify the above content to display the desired rich text content. Finally, some style classes are defined. These style classes should be used within the rich text component by using that class attribute. You can see that class attribute here. These are customized style classes. Therefore, within this, you can see the rich text styles defined using that class attribute. There is a span tag here. So styles for span and that a link tag are also defined inside. The third point is about customizing styles. In this code, we added styles for that rich text content style class, and also set styles for the span and attacks. This is what we've covered today about the rich text component. It's a more colorful text format than regular text, as it can include font, color, size, images, links, etc. These elements make it more vivid and interesting than regular text. In practical applications, based on specific situations, one can choose between regular text and rich text. That concludes our lesson for today. Thank you, everyone.